ERE383 number 114, assembly slideshow. All right, coated cam bearings. These are Durabond CHPH, but these happen to be coated. I had a couple set in the drawer, so I put them in this engine. What you're going to have on this video is more of a slideshow with narration. So I assemble, take a few pictures, and I'll stop every once in a while and I will take video. Anyway, that one shot there of the main cap and the steel ball, which is a oil galley plug, I always take that picture as a reference to make sure, did I put the plug in or didn't I? So there's always evidence. Camshaft from Dennis Staff. I'll get to the specs later when the cam degree video shows up. Right now that's the main bearing clearance. There's 0.0025 to 0.0027 clearance. Those were with standard size King main bearings. So Johnny Hurd of Hurd Performance Machining did the block work, the torque plate hone. He also did a line bore of a line honing of the mains because the ARP studs were replacing the main cap bolts. So it did get a main cap line hone. See the vent holes in that water galley plug there, the oil galley plug there. So I always thread the front oil galleys to put plugs in, but I like to put those plugs that have the holes in them. To the rings, they were gapped at 20 thou top, 18 thou second. So the rod bearing, all the rod and the rod bearing clearance was about 0.0022 to 0.0025. Bottom end fully assembled. Rod bolts torqued to 75 foot-pounds. The thrust for that number 5, the thrust cap, ended up being 0.004. So I'm going to measure the pistons, how far they are in the hole. They end up being 0.020, 20 thou in the hole. The block will be minimum decked, and I do that on purpose. All right, camshaft degree. The cam ended up being 1 degree advanced with this time and set. It came in at 106 intake centerline to the cam card showing 107 intake centerline. The cam is a 226-230 duration, somewhere around 0.580 lift, somewhere around there with 1.6 rockers. It's designed by Dennis Staff at Fast Cat Porting Services. The AFR cylinder heads, these are straight from AFR, the 1031 LT1 heads, 1031. These are the 65cc chamber, that's why flat top pistons. It's somewhere in the low 11:1 static compression ratio. cleaned up the threads. Those get put in the parts washer, then the ARP thread sealant on the threads, and then grease, high pressure grease for the under the washer, or I mean on top of the washer under the head bolt. I don't believe in the moly stuff. I've heard from that. Lake Speed mentioned how moly grease does not help ring seal on initial startup of an engine. Nice view of the additional clearance I had to grind for that rod bolt right there. I had to grind about 4 places, a little more than my initial grinding. So on the bottom end there, the used stock windage tray and a brand new milling 155 oil pump. That's a 3/4 inch pickup, and that's a Canton pickup for a 7-inch oil pan. I have to bend it up a little bit to get it a little closer, because the oil, it really should be a 7.5-inch pickup. And that's a core timing cover. That's a takeoff from a core that I had, or a customer engine that was exchanged. So that was put to good use. The torque head system being put on there. Always easier for me to do it on the engine stand than you putting yours on while it's in the car. And a used core oil pan. It's not brand new, but it works. Picture of that sight glass right there. Instead of an oil level sensor, I put a sight glass. Okay, to the lifters. You've got to spend money on lifters nowadays. A good high quality lifter right there, that one GM Performance part with the bow tie on there. I think it's made by Johnson. It has a very similar look to the Johnson lifters, and those are very high quality. That is made in USA, that lifter set there, so it's worth spending the money. This is a stock damper I'm using just for the dyno. I put the time and set, or the timing marks on there, so I can make sure I have the timing dialed in while I'm at the engine dyno. A few final pictures of the short block. I still got to run the oil pump and test the oil system, and then put the intake manifold on for the dyno testing. And that'll be within a week. Dyno testing on this, I'm expecting 520 horsepower. Let's see if that's what I get. This is Carl Ellwein, Ellwein Engines. Take care.